Hi ihr Lieben, ich bin's, eure Lotte und ich freue mich voll, dass ihr jetzt hier gerade einschaltet. Es wird jetzt hier einen kleinen Livestream geben und heute geht es nicht um Gefühle oder Musik oder erst recht nicht um mich, sondern um was anderes, was mich sehr, sehr bewegt und was sehr, sehr wichtig ist. Gerade weil es so viele News draußen gibt und so viel auf einmal passiert, verliert man oft den Fokus. Und ich bin Botschafterin für Terre, das ist eine Kinderhilfsorganisation, die machen ganz, ganz tolle Arbeit. Und wir werden heute hier über die Situation in der Ukraine reden. Und dafür habe ich einen ganz, ganz besonderen Gast. Sie spricht Englisch, das heißt, es wird ein englischer Livestream werden. Und falls ihr da so ein bisschen mit struggelt, dann haben wir natürlich auch Untertitel für euch. Aber das hier ist Gosia. Gosia, do you want to introduce yourself?
Of course. Hello everybody, my name is Gosia. I come from Poland and from Ukraine in a way, because last 4 years I lived there in the city of Kharkiv at the east of Ukraine. And currently, I left of course due to the war. Currently I live in Berlin and work at Terre, and I'm very happy to work with you on that as well.
Yeah. I think it's so important that we spend some time, especially on this day. Do you want to tell me what day it is?
Yes, it's 24th of February, and it's been exactly a year ago that whole Ukraine and the whole world woke up to the bombs, Russian bombs falling on the most major Ukrainian cities. We celebrate today. Celebrate is a bad word, but we commemorate the day of full-scale invasion. But we have to also remember that it's been 9 years since the war started.
With
2014.
We can go deeper into this. I think it would be so awesome if you just kind of give us an update, because there's so much happening in this world. Can you tell us what happened in the last, in that case, 9 years? Like maybe just some facts. You have this like wonderful information prepared for us.
What happens is that 9 years ago Russia invaded Ukraine for the first time, and in a second we'll show you the map. And a year ago they came again with the full-scale invasion all over the Ukraine, and up to date we can talk about almost 6 million people which are internally displaced within Ukraine, and up to 7.8 million that are refugees in the other countries, including Germany. Numbers when it comes to children are also quite dramatic. Officially we don't have all the data, of course, but officially it's like 430 children that were killed, and more than 800 injured by the war action. That's dramatic. I don't have numbers, but what we know is that basically kind of the abused one, and the youngest one as well. What's also happening is that forceful deportations of children. I would call it just kidnapping. So Ukraine talks about up to 16,000 children that disappeared or were kidnapped to Russia from the occupied territories or from the places where the war actions happening. Russia is proudly announcing in own propaganda media about 7,000 children that were adopted and, as they like to say, saved from the bad Ukrainian families. So
that is just sounds so surreal. We have to go deeper into this in a little bit. Like I want to know more about what you know about it, to give me kind of like a picture. I've never been good in geographics, but like maybe we actually look at a map of Ukraine so you can tell us how it started, what began, what's happening now, and all that.
So how you can see on the map, Ukraine is this beautiful and big country in the east.
It is a really beautiful country, right?
Like amazing. I mean, once war is over, I think it should be the new vacation destination for all of us. I'm very much in love with this place, with this country. But what is important is that 2014 Russia invaded, and as you can see on the map, this is the state of last year. But the red part on the east, on the right side of the map, and the red part in the south, the whole peninsula of Crimea, they were.
We call it Krim. The Krim.
Yeah. So yes, this beautiful Krim, it was annexed, we say. There was annexation of Crimea in 2014 in March, and the full-fledged war happening in the east of Ukraine. So when the invasion started, full-scale invasion, last year, they actually, the Russian troops started walking north from Crimea,
north and west
from the east, but also from the north toward Kiev. And you see on the map all those little dots. That's every single place in Ukraine that woke up to the bombs.
That is insane. So the first thing is like important for me to realize is it wasn't 1 year of war, but it was 9 years of war, and actually war always happening. That's what you told me earlier. It's like even at the borders, at the south and at the east, after these territories were annexed, there was still always insecurity going on, always fear going on, people always being scared, always feeling like something could happen soon. Like for us, it was a big surprise, but you say for you guys, it wasn't a surprise at all.
No, and the kind of the tension is rising. Like Russia was putting army very close to the borders. So, some months before the full-scale invasion started, I was walking with my dog in the park, and then there was like a an airplane going over our heads, and every single person in that park looked up, and we were just asking ourselves, it's ours or already it started?
Okay,
yeah, I mean, we
so
lived with this kind of...
It really was more than just a year of knowledge. It was
it was there, and the atrocities were happening,
and which also we have to go quick. I know, but like what I also like, I just want to like say that again, because you just said it in like a small sentence. All these orange dots are bombings, and they happened all over Ukraine, and they also happened actually really close to our border. And I have to like realize again, I mean, for us sometimes we feel like Ukraine is really far away, but I've just heard like it from Berlin, the Ukrainian border is way closer than, for example, Freiburg, which is a city in the south.
It's a one-day drive.
So it's not only like it's just crazy. But let's go deeper into what happened after the first invasion. What it looked
so
like.
what was happening all the time? First of all, the invasion, like on the land, but also constant bombing. So now we can see the map from the 1st of April. This is the almost maximum how far Russians went into the Russian army went into the Ukraine. You can see the blue arrows. These are the Ukrainian army kind of pushing ahead, pushing the Russians away. But also like the bombing was happening all the time. And now what we can also talk about is that it's not only army against the army, like since October.
Yeah, that's what I like, the information that I kind of gathered is like what we see on this map. We see like Russia's like was pushing in like from all angles pretty much that they could reach, and they also cut off the sea down there, which is like awful because that's like really important points for you guys, all the ports and all that, right? But what I was wondering, what happened, like that's what we see, but what happened with humans, like what happened actually there?
So on the one hand, like the territories that are not occupied, since a year they are bombed constantly, so nobody can really sleep properly without fear that any moment you have to run to the shelter. And what's happening is also that the critical infrastructure is being bombed, so they managed to switch off the light and electricity in all Ukraine.
Internet as well, probably.
Internet is having problems, so they are actually targeting civilians by the fact that the heavy continental Ukrainian winter there will be no heating, no electricity. But what happens on the occupied territories is like, it's also not a beautiful picture. Many people stayed there. Not everybody managed to evacuate. This is your home. I mean, everybody has own reasons why to stay. Sometimes it's even families with small children are still staying behind.
Yeah, people that are maybe sick, people that are already in the hospital, people that are older.
Or you have the grandmother that you would not leave, so you stay.
Yeah, same. You're staying for other people.
You have seen the situation from April. Right now, we're showing you the situation from end of January, where the blue arrows are pointing to how far Ukrainian army managed to push away the Russian army, and that's only when we're learning what really happened there on this liberated territories.
Because now you're actually getting information of what happened in the last months.
Yeah, and there's like a really bad picture of tortures, of very little kids being abused, and very elderly ladies too. But also it's super heavily mined. So it's not that the war is over, it was liberated. Kids have no place to play because children, every space.
Yeah, you just want to go out and play, but now if there's mines everywhere, like how would that ever be possible?
That it will take years to actually clear it out and make it really safe. But also, we have to remember that, that was occupied, so at least there was no shelling or like bombing. And right now Russians withdraw, but they are bombing back. So the city of Kherson, they never knew it before, like Kiev got used to it, that where your closest shelter is. In the city of Kherson, for instance, right now you have to learn it again because now they're being bombed by the enemy.
So you're saying it's like the terror didn't stop, like now maybe the raping and the abusing stopped, or the people being terrorized in their homes, tortured, but now the Russian soldiers are gone, but now they're starting to bomb the homes again, and there's still mines everywhere, so you don't really feel safe anywhere you are. That is awful.
And the kind of critical infrastructure doesn't work. So situation is really not bad, but let's think about the light in this dark night.
Yeah, we have to go deeper into into some. But thank you for going through that again. I know you've lived there. You have people there. You lost people. So I appreciate your openness and going into information. But like, let's go into what Terre does. You guys work with kids. It's a kids organization, and you have amazing projects. I got to see somewhere. We're just gonna like scratch on the top of it now because we don't have the time to really go deep into it. But if you're interested, check out Terre. Check their Instagram. They have like such like it's beautiful and it's hopeful and it's great, and I'm becoming really emotional because these kids are our future and they're so it's not cool. But you guys are doing amazing work. So let's go in some of these projects. What need the kids? What are the kids needing there?
Oh, quite a lot. But I also wanted to say it's not, like Terre works with, like we support our partners. And like what happened last year is that I feel like I have touched the absolute evil, but also the absolute good. And people who work there are doing amazing things for children, for youth, for young people.
So as horrible as it was, as you still see so much like human love and help.
Unconditional
empathy.
help, unconditional assistance and support. And like, for instance, this first picture that you're seeing right now, it's like, first thing you have to secure them, right? I mean, the kids, children, youth have to be in a safe place. So
means evacuation.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what many of our partners are doing. One of the biggest one is Vostok, who are themselves evacuees in a way, because this is an organization which is set up by people who are refugees from Lugansk and Donetsk.
So they have been there, but they still decide to go back, risk their lives to help kids to get safer.
And they themselves lost their houses, so they know perfectly well how it is to lose everything, to lose all the life you have and run away just with your child next to you. So what they're doing right now, they're risking their lives. They're securing evacuations. They're evacuating children, their families, also elderly people. But for us, it's like, it's the whole family. Like when there is a child in the family and it can't leave because the grandmother is there, then you have to take the whole family. You have to think about it. The child doesn't exist without parents and grandparents. So they are evacuating families from the east, and here you can see the 14 days old Katerina.
Is that the blue thing? Is that that's 14?
They just wrapped her up. I mean, it's November. It's a picture from the kind of deep winter. So they wrapped her up.
They saved her.
Yeah, and then the family decided to leave, and that's beautiful that they did it. And Vostok heroically helped them. And then, one thing is to evacuate.
So now you evacuate them, and then where do they go?
That's the question. So they're like these shelters, the intermediary shelters, the place that you can just reach and get the first help, first medical help, psychological one, from where you can actually breathe a little bit and think where I can go, where is my family, maybe I go abroad, maybe I stay in Ukraine.
So that's this year?
Yeah, that's
that's wonderful. And it must be great for the parents too, if you go there with your kids, you've been through such a hard time, and you kind of have people who also take care of the kids, kind of I don't know, what we know as kindergarten or whatever, and you for maybe 1 or 2 days you can just be vulnerable yourself without having to be strong all the time.
Well, sometimes even half an hour. that somebody takes the child, takes care of the child. So this is one of the beautiful projects. All of them are beautiful, but it's medical aid committee from Zakarpattia, from Uzhhorod. This is West Ukraine, which with our support they bought a house.
Okay, so from the east where the war is, you can go further west where the houses like that are?
It's safer. It's especially in this region, it's a higher chance that you actually can sleep normally because there are no kind of direct risks anymore. And this is a house for 16 families, 16 mothers with children, where they live together, they play, they are secure, they can get psychological support, and more partners that we support are providing this kind of shelters or small group houses. It's called.
I got another quick question. So when you go there and you've been through all that, I know that countries are different when it comes to psychological help. I know that for some countries it's still new, they still a little critical about it or insecure if they believe in something like mental health. How is Ukraine with that, and how can you guys offer support when it comes to the sorry, my English sometimes
No, it's
it's
perfect.
like
It's good.
when it comes to the mental health or like psychological support.
So those things are also changing. Of course, there is a little bit of stigmatization of, my
Yeah.
child is not sick. But then right now, people are aware of the fact that the level of trauma, the level of things that children are going through is that high that they need support. And some of our partners are also providing this support, starting from the direct work with psychologists through all sorts of body therapy, art therapy,
That is wonderful.
music therapy. And music really changes a lot, gets the stress out.
Yeah, I know that like I actually heard that it's not only because of like it's the music, the sound of it and all that, but also it's so much actually biological happening. It's the slow breathing is almost like a meditation. Then the movements you're doing sometimes with your arms up, arms over your head is like the easiest thing to get like a better mood. Like if you're like, that's like a really stupid thing in that context, I know, like if you're not feeling good in the morning, just put your hands up, like actually.
And dance.
So yeah, so like that's wonderful. Like it's like playful ways to get like psychological help into a culture that might not be as used to it yet.
And it's super important. So the Pastok Sos, but also organization Art Dot, a small and beautiful from Kharkiv, Voices of Children. These are organizations with whom we work, we support in Ukraine, and they're doing this beautiful work of thinking of a child holistically and providing them exactly the kind of psychosocial support they need.
Probably also helping the parents at the same time.
Oh yes,
They just need it too.
If mother is not stable, the child takes it as well, and the younger the child is, the more it actually takes instinctually from the carer.
Talking about younger kids, how is it with the opposite, older kids? How are the teenagers?
Well, I mean, as we all know, it's not easy to be a teenager.
Even you want to be a rebel.
I mean, you do remember that times, right? And then the situation is getting...
I do.
It's quick memories. It's not easy. I mean, kind of, you want to be a rebel, you need the time to separate from your parents or from your carers. You need to individuate, to find your own mission in the world. And then you need space, and you need friends, you need your buddies that you lost. Because everybody right now is in a move, you have no contact with them. I mean, have no friends close by. You are living sometimes in a temporal shelter on this kind of small group house with your parents, and it's hard. It's hard to find your own path, and at the same time, you are actually a young adult. Yeah, you are powerful. You want to help. A lot of volunteering is done by the young people.
That is wonderful. So they help the youngers and the olders.
Yeah, and so before full-scale invasion, there was already quite a nice network of youth centers. Germany knows it as well. There's plenty of youth centers in Germany.
I've been there. I've been in music Jugendzentrum in Ravensburg. Yeah. So you built these again, or like you do more of that right now?
We try to support them. So those which are existing, we're kind of giving moral support, but also training to the people who work there. Yeah. But also we try to rebuild some of them.
Oh, you train the people. So you train also the like older kids to like be better at helping or like more informed about it?
I would rather say so our partner organizations, Stan from Ivano-Frankivsk and also NUMO, which is an association of union of different youth organizations in Ukraine. What they try to do is not even to be volunteers, because this they know very well. I mean, it's amazing how fast they kind of reorganize their work into volunteering. What we try to train them back to is to how to actually not only help the others, but also create this youth space as a place for young people to recreate, as a creational space. And then, there are new challenges.
Music, art.
Even board games, music, arts, but like you want to meet new people, you have to have it somehow facilitated. You are new in the new community, you are actually a refugee, you're IDP. How to find common language with the kids which are living there. The same problems we have in Germany. I mean, how to find you and your friends in this situation that it's so hard to even think about the others. But then wonderful. There's the next issue, schools. I mean, very often schools don't work. You go online.
True. How about education? Yeah.
It's hard, I mean, in the west of Ukraine, schools work, but whenever there's a bomb alarm, kind of bombing is coming, like last Friday, 5 times in Kiev, you had to go down to the shelters. What kind of school? Last Friday, there were 5 times like this.
In Kiev on one day? Like that's impossible. You wouldn't ever go to school. So they do online schooling, I guess?
Those who can, they do. But then again, like what kind of online schooling it is when there is no electricity very often, because
No
Russia
internet.
is attacking the no internet, attacking critical infrastructure, or that because you constantly run to the metro there and back. So people try to do the best, and teachers are amazingly brave. I mean, there are even cases of teachers, you're actually in the army already. In every break from work at the army, they're opening the laptops and they're teaching geography back. So people doing
wonderful.
amazing things, but you can't talk about the proper regular education in this situation. So we hope that also in the youth centers that we are supporting with both of the organization, there will be this corner when there are laptops, when there is a Starlink, when there is electricity out of generator, because there are so many power cuts.
So they can use it as a school, pretty much.
Yeah, if
That is
if
wonderful.
possible. But they also need people trained for that. Yeah, I mean,
True.
it's one thing that you're a
We need
teacher. The other
teachers.
thing that you're taking care of kids from different ages, doing different classes right now.
Who all have been traumatized, who all went through
You have
hard
to know.
stuff, whose parents are not stable either. So like,
Yeah.
this is such an important work, and except for like, we can donate. That's something we can do, I know. And you guys, if there's something left, I know there's a lot happening right now in this world, but maybe I feel like sometimes you just have to find something for yourself that really touches your soul, and then you give what you got for that. You don't have to help everything, of course you don't, but maybe you find something that really, maybe it's this. So if it is, check out the show notes, go deeper, go donate, go inform yourself. What else can we do? Because I need to do something now. So I'm like, what can I do?
Well, it's 24th today. It's been exactly a year since the full-scale invasion, and exactly 9 years since the war started. You can go on the streets. I'm quite sure that in every city and town in Ukraine there will be bigger or smaller demonstration. There will be a huge one in Berlin happening on 24th, organized by
So
Biczyk.
go join.
Go show them. Go show them that they're not alone. I mean, they're fighting the war to save their lives, and they will have to know that there is somebody behind that will always support them.
And now knowing that it's not only been a year, what I, to be honest, kind of thought, but it's been 9 years since like always war was happening, always danger was there. Like, people need to know that they're not alone. So yeah,
very much so. But also, I mean, in every places that you are right now in Germany, there is some Ukrainian young person, or not only young. Smile to them. I mean, it's really. Kind of. It's hard. It's hard enough to live here in the country that language they don't speak very often. Yeah, and finding themselves with the new reality, new administration. At the same time, your head is constantly in Ukraine. You constantly think about the brother, father, husband being in army and being under danger.
So being welcoming to those people, having them
Sometimes it's just about smile, or let your child play with little Ukrainian children. I mean, or tell them at school it's okay that they don't speak the language yet.
Because nobody wants to leave, especially all those people. They didn't want to leave their home, and it's hard. It's hard. That's. Is there anything else you can think of?
Oh, probably a lot, but just don't forget about Ukraine. That's
just keep it in your mind.
Just this little thing. Yeah, I mean, I've been hearing so often people telling me we're so tired with this war. Yeah, I mean, I understand it, but trust me, like, people in Ukraine are even more tired. They actually don't sleep because of bombing. They are tired. You just would like to think about something else, right? So it is okay to. It's okay to be tired with wars. I mean, that's normal thing, but try not to forget about people who stay there and who are fighting the fight for your life, for their life and yours as well.
Thank you so much, Gosha. That was really, really, really good. And I hope you guys appreciate it just as much as I did to get to know more about what's actually happening. And I'm impressed by your strength to go through all that, even though you've seen it. And I adore that. That's awesome. If you want to know more, you can see I'm really emotional about this. If you want to know more, check it out. And you'll find ways to inform yourself more if you want to. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Lotte.